Hi guys, welcome to the Wrestling Retrospective, and in today's video I'm doing my predictions for AEW Forbidden Door 2025. So starting off with Edge and Christian reuniting to take on Kip Sabian and now Killswitch or Luchasaurus. As of last night on Dynamite, we know that Nick Wayne has broken his foot and yeah, he won't be able to make Forbidden Door. So they've had Luchasaurus, I assume, maybe return early. I would assume that maybe he was supposed to come back at the pay-per-view and cost, or at least attempt to cost, Christian the match. But yeah, I'm very happy to see Luchasaurus back, obviously, with him fighting pneumonia. It was obviously a very big kind of worry when someone's got pneumonia, so I'm glad that he's okay and is able to come back again now. And yeah, I look forward to kind of seeing him back and seeing in what way he's back on. I can't really see him sticking around with Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian. I'd like to see him kind of go off on his own a little bit, or even do like a heel version of Jurassic Express in a way, because you know, some people saw the jacket of the Doctor that brought Luchasaurus back to life, and maybe it could be Jack Perry, which I feel like would be an interesting way to go, because the Jurassic Express were one of the things that kind of made me get into AEW a lot, so I'd love to see them come back together again. But as far as this match goes, I mean, I feel like the very safe choice here is to go with Edge and Christian to get the win. I can't see, you know, Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne or Luchasaurus getting a win here. I feel like they're going to give the win to the uniting or reuniting team of Edge and Christian, because it'll give a big babyface pop to them. I do wonder whether they're going to change around Christian's aesthetic a little bit to kind of match Edge's a little, Copeland's a little bit. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to this match in a way of just seeing what Copeland and Cage looks like as a team in 2025. But yeah, for me, it's a bit of a shame because, as you guys know, I hate Adam Copeland so much. I really don't like him in AEW, but I love Christian Cage and I love the father gimmick. So I'm kind of worried but curious to see where this goes after this, other than the match with FTR, which feels pretty inevitable, but we'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, for me, very easy way to start. I'm going to go with Adam Copeland and Christian Cage to get the win here. Following that, we have the TBS Championship Fatal 4-Way match with Mercedes Moné defending against Perspone. I can't remember how to say her name. The one that's second in from CMML. Someone that I have actually quite a vested interest in. I've seen her wrestle a couple of times. I think she did Supercard of Honor in the Fatal 4-Way match for the interim Women's TV Championship match. And she did Wrestle Dynasty as well in a Fatal 4-Way match. And she had great showings in both of those matches. I look forward to seeing her wrestle again. And I kind of wish AEW kind of bring her in a little bit more, just because she is absolutely fantastic. Against Alex Windsor from AEW, which obviously we've seen a lot of. I can't see her getting the win. And Bozilla, which is from Stardom. And I've literally haven't seen anything of hers. So I'm curious to see what she's like. But she is massive. And yeah, I look forward to seeing kind of how her dynamic adds to the match. But as much as, you know, I look forward to seeing the challengers, apart from Alex Windsor, who I've seen a fair bit of by this time, obviously with her signing with AEW recently, I cannot see Mercedes Moné walking out without the TBS Championship, especially if she is going to win a 9th championship while she is in Scotland. I believe she's got a match on Friday night in a Scottish promotion where she could win another championship, which would be very typical for her to win. But no, for me, as I said, I really can't see them putting the titles on either of the women from Stardom or CMML. I can't see them putting the title or Alex Windsor being the person to take the title from Mercedes. I feel like there would be a bigger build to that match to when Mercedes loses. So yeah, for me, very simple, very straightforward. But I've got Mercedes Moné to retain the TBS Championship and continue her mega reign as top of the women's mid-card division, I suppose. Following that, we have Kyle Fletcher defending the TNT Championship against Hiromu Takahashi. And yeah, it's a match I'm very looking forward to. I've seen a fair bit of Takahashi now. I've been watching New Japan a little bit more. And I feel like, apart from the wrestling, he is going to come out in something ridiculous as far as his entrance goes, which is probably going to kind of give the dynamic completely opposite to Kyle Fletcher, who is obviously being very serious at the minute. But can I see Kyle Fletcher losing the TNT Championship? Absolutely not. He's only just won it. I feel like, and I say this every time, but I feel like he is the one who's going to make the TNT Championship great again. Like, surely. Like, he's part of the Don Callis family. They kind of make championships great. Obviously, Takeshita had a great run as the international champion, as well as Okada currently as the unified champion, as well as the international and continental champion as well, or at least we're led to believe. I don't know how all that's working out, but we will get to it. But yeah, I feel like this is going to be a great match. I feel like this is a really good test for Kyle Fletcher. I feel like he is going to be the more grounded wrestler here and kind of go for a more brawling go at this one, rather than Takahashi, who's probably going to go for a more high-flying thing and more technical. So yeah, I feel like this is going to be probably an underdog for match of the night. I feel like people are kind of not talking about this enough almost, but I feel like they might be building it up a little bit more on Collision rather than Dynamite this week. But yeah, I said it's a match I'm looking forward to. Just because I'm a big fan of Kyle Fletcher right now, and Takahashi's really good. And yeah, but I can't see Kyle Fletcher losing the championship here, so yeah, I'm rooting for obviously Kyle Fletcher to get the win. After that, we have a three-way World Tag Team Championship match with defending champions, the Hurt Syndicate, going up against FTR and Bandido and Brody King. And yeah, it's a match I'm very interested in. I'm surprised that they had the match go to a time limit draw. I assume this is something to do with the antics of the Hurt Syndicate that we've heard rumours about, so obviously I can only speculate on it. But with the fact that the Hurt Syndicate don't want to lose the title straight to FTR, but you have to assume that FTR are going to defend the championships against Edge and Christian, or Copeland and Christian, that we've kind of had to add in a third team. So yeah, so pretty much my prediction for this is FTR are going to win the Tag Team Championships, but they're going to pin either Bandido or Brody King to do it. So then the Hurt Syndicate can kind of move on to different stuff. I'd love to see Bobby Lashley go for a run in the main event scene and challenge for the World Championship. I feel like him versus Hangman would be a great match, or MJF even. And yeah, they've even got the history with MJF, so actually, whichever way the main event goes, you're kind of looking at a good story either way for Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin can quite easily go into the Unified Championship division, go for the International Championship. Due to being late on in the year now, he could enter the Continental Classic again. So there's plenty of options for Shelton Benjamin as well in probably the mid-card or upper mid-card. But yeah, for me, as I said, I feel like this is kind of a backstage antics thing, which of course isn't a surprise to say when it comes to AEW. But yeah, I feel like unfortunately, also because Bandido is Ring of Honor World Champion, Brody King is probably going to eat a pin here, and it's going to be to either Cash or Dax, or to Wheeler. Cash, I don't know. But one of the FTR lads are going to end up pinning Brody King to win the Tag Team Championships, so then they can move on to a feud with Copeland and Cage. But yeah, I feel like overall it should be a really good match, as long as they have three people be legal in the ring at once. If they do the whole two-person thing, it's going to annoy me throughout. But yeah, no, I feel like it's going to be a decent match. It's just a shame that kind of it feels like backstage antics has played a part in this. Even though Bandido and Brody King are a fantastic team, it doesn't feel like they should be in the tag team title scene. But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, for me, as I said, I'm going to go with FTR to become the new champions here, to then lead on to other things in other feuds. Following that, we had Zack Sabre Jr. defending the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Nigel McGuinness with Daniel Garcia in his corner. And this match kind of has a wrestler's favourite wrestling match of the night probably written all over it. This is going to be a technical classic, with these two kind of going for holds and wrist locks and submissions constantly throughout. I know it's kind of Zack Sabre Jr.'s style overall, but also Nigel McGuinness is also very good at it as well from what I've seen of his. Very interesting that Daniel Garcia is in the corner of Nigel. I can't help but feel like there might be a turn here, but then that might just be the inner wrestling fan / narcissist thinking that whenever two good guys come together, one of them is essentially going to turn. But yeah, I mean, I would be glad if they didn't. I feel like Daniel Garcia is a lot better as a babyface right now. Or maybe Nigel turns, which would be interesting, because obviously he has played a heel for the majority of his career from what I can tell. I haven't seen a lot of Nigel McGuinness matches, but I do plan on doing that on the front row, which you should go and sign up for. I believe there's a link in the description where I do the Pop or Drop series, which I go back and watch matches I've not seen before, as well as matches I have done and don't remember, and give them a pop or drop, and maybe some Nigel McGuinness matches could get added into that. But plugs aside, Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this match just because of the kind of different style it's going to bring compared to everything else on the card. Obviously, two absolutely fantastic wrestlers from Britain's past and present. And yeah, I have a lot of interest in this one just to see the different style, but as far as the winner goes, there is no chance that having Nigel McGuinness win the IWGP World Championship. So my prediction is very straightforward. It's going to be Zack Sabre Jr. who gets the win. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw Takeshita kind of show up at some point, probably after this match, just because he won the G1 Climax and has said that he wants to go into Wrestle Kingdom next year as IWGP World Champion. So I assume they're going to match at some point, which I literally cannot wait for. But yeah, so I look forward to it, and I feel like, again, it might not be my favourite match of the night just because of the style of it, but I know there is going to be some people who are going to love this one, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I just don't think it's going to be my kind of match, if that makes sense. But yeah, for me, Zack Sabre Jr. is undoubtedly getting the win here. So following that, we have Toni Storm defending the AEW Women's World Championship against Athena, who is cashing in or executing her contract from her Casino Gauntlet match win last month at All In. But this, to me, it's probably the hardest match, or one of the hardest matches to predict on the card. I generally have no idea which way this could go, and I've convinced myself that it could go either way as well. So for me, you could go with Athena, where you could have her as a double forever champion. I feel like she would make a great AEW Women's Champion. But at the same time, with her being Ring of Honor Women's World Champion as well, it makes me think about who on their roster might be the one to take the title from her, because right now, my head just says that Billie Starkz will eventually be the one to take the title from her, and then we kind of build the division around her for like years in the future. That's for the Ring of Honor World Championship. But at the same time, it's a case of, I can also see Athena kind of eating the loss here, maybe having a shake of confidence, which someone might take advantage of to then get to the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. But then, who's the person to beat Toni? Now, I feel like there is still a lot of names that could do it. I feel like a rematch with Mercedes would be great for All Out. I also feel like Chris Statlander should be in a position to take the title from Toni Storm, and also Willie Nightingale, as well as Megan Bain as well, but I feel like she isn't being put probably in the main event scene quite yet, but they are building her up massively to finally kind of get to that point very soon. So yeah, so either way, like, I can see it working with whoever wins and whoever loses, but as far as the prediction goes, I genuinely have no idea. I think I'm going to back Toni, just because it's like very AEW to just keep the title on Toni for a bit. Also, with me having such a big investment in Chris Statlander, Megan Bain and others, and I feel like if they're going to do a rematch with Mercedes, it has to be for the World Championship and not the TBS Championship. It makes the most sense then to have Toni retain here. Don't want to have those views because Athena still has the ROH Women's Championship and would fit right in with the AEW division. Because my worry is the fact that if she loses here, she goes back to just doing Ring of Honor, which I really don't want. I feel like she's adapted back into AEW television very, very well, and I very much enjoyed having her around again. So it's a very interesting one. But as I said, I'm going to go with Toni for my prediction, but kind of either way, I'm happy whichever way this goes, which is obviously a great position to be in. But yeah, for me, again, also, I feel like this is another dark horse for match of the night. These two could go out there and absolutely kill it. It's probably a dream match that I didn't realise that we needed. I don't know if they faced each other before. I didn't look into it beforehand. But yeah, I said, it's a match I'm very much looking forward to. Absolutely love these two at the minute. And yeah, I hope they make magic on Sunday. After that, we have Okada defending the Unified Championship against Swerve Strickland. And yeah, this is an interesting one. Again, another hard one to predict because obviously it's very easy to say that Okada won't lose the championship so soon after winning it. But then he also has two other championships, and I wish the AEW had made it very clear on whether the International and Continental Championships are still up for grabs, even if it wasn't just overall explaining it, but people challenging for them on weekly TV as like instead. But unfortunately, we haven't got that. But I believe, if my memory serves me right, that Swerve or maybe even Don Callis said that the Unified Championship is held under continental rules, which means there's like no interference or anything like that, and I believe there's also a time limit. But yeah, but also at the same time, I can see them kind of taking the title off Okada and giving it to Swerve, just because I feel like Swerve would establish the championship a lot better, but that's Nothing against Okada. I feel like just Swerve is such a big name and so over right now in AEW that not having a championship on him when there's so many in the company would be a massive mistake. So it's an interesting one. Again, I don't know which way they're going to go. I wish that like they've made it obvious so then like if Okada loses the Unified Championship, he can still defend the International and Continental Championships as well. But they have not made that clear, so that's kind of really annoying. As far as prediction goes, I'm actually going to go with Swerve to get the win with this one. I feel like I've played it safe with a fair few of my predictions so far. And yeah, I feel like I'd rather go for a bit of a risk. I'm going to go with Swerve to get the win here. I feel like this match is going to be absolutely fantastic. I don't think there's any doubt with the fact that these two are going to put on a absolutely classic match. But yeah, it's more a case of just how much time they get. I mean, obviously there is a bit of a limit on time in the O2 compared to other arenas and stadiums that they've done before. But yeah, so I feel like this is definitely going to be one of the best matches of the night, undoubtedly. But yeah, I'm going to back Swerve to get the win here, but honestly, it wouldn't surprise me either way which way this goes. But yeah, I'm more excited for just the match itself because you know it's just going to be so good. So after that we have the lights out unsanctioned steel cage match, which is looking like a very interesting match. Obviously we've got the Death Riders in John Moxley and Cardio Castagnoli with Gabe Kidd and the Young Bucks taking on Team Injured, essentially. Because you've got Darby Allin, who's hurt everywhere. You've got Will Ospreay, whose neck is fucked. You've got Tanahashi and Ibushi, whose knees are cracked. And you've got Okada and Omega, who his insides are absolutely messed up. So I really don't understand how the heels don't win here, which is actually my prediction. I feel like the Death Riders, Gabe Kidd and Young Bucks are going to win here. I feel like they've been losing a lot recently, and they're going to kind of get those losses back by winning a big match here. Because obviously I thought the match they were going to do was just Moxley versus Darby in some kind of stipulation match, and then they'll do something else with the rest of them. But no, this was a very interesting way to go. Not sure why they put Tanahashi in this match. I expected him just to have a straight singles match. I actually thought he was going to be the guy who was going to answer Kyle Fletcher. But obviously that's not the case. As far as like the ring and the cage goes, they're going to have to make the cage like a Hell in a Cell type. Because having 10 people in the ring all at once and they're pretty much compacted into the ring, you would think that it's going to be very hard to maneuver and do any kind of moves like that. So I assume like this was supposed to be Blood and Guts, but for some reason they didn't do Blood and Guts this year, so they're doing just one cage and it's going to be on Forbidden Door instead, which is a very interesting way to go. I mean, it's a match I'm very curious about. I'm not sure how good it's going to be if they're all compacted into the ring and they can't really leave the ring. I feel like that would be a massive mistake if they kind of... I believe they did a steel cage match where they kind of extended it out a little bit so you could kind of get onto the floor. I feel like that would be the better way to do it, so it's a bit more of a Hell in a Cell than it is a steel cage. But yeah, again, as I said, very interesting this one. I'm very interested to see what Gabe Kidd's going to be like after his injury. Obviously, he had to forfeit out of the G1 Climax, so that was a massive disappointment. So I said, I'm looking forward to see how he gets on now that his knee is okay. But yeah, pray for Team Babyface, because if they're all injury prone and they're going into a unsanctioned cage match, then it feels very nonsensical to put them in this match. So yeah, but for me, I'm going to go with Team Death Riders, Kidd and Bucks to get the win here, just because they're just going to beat the crap out of the faces, and I can't imagine any of the face guys are going to be looking good coming out of this one. And finally, we have the main event, or at least I assume will be the main event, where we have Hangman Adam Page defending the AEW World Championship against MJF, which, as we know, as of last night on Dynamite, is going to be where if Hangman gets disqualified, he will lose the title. If he gets counted out, he loses the title. And this isn't now MJF cashing in or executing his Casino Gauntlet contract. This is just a regular match. So you got to... My assumption is that Hangman's going to get the win, but MJF will have beat him up so much, or Hangman will get the disqualification win. Oh no, he can't. That is a bit of a curveball now I'm thinking about it. So my assumption is MJF will lose the first match, and then he will execute his contract straight away, maybe while Hangman's not looking, maybe beat him up with some kind of weapon, maybe with a championship. He'll then execute the contract and then win. So I don't hope that makes sense, but I can see this coming down to two matches, very similar to Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, ironically, when Cope won the TNT Championship from Christian. Christian then cashed in Luchasaurus's Casino Gauntlet win and then won the TNT title back for himself. That is very similar to what I'm expecting here. So I'm going to go, as far as the prediction goes, Hangman will win the first match and he will retain the championship. MJF will attack him, take him out, leave him bloody, cash in his, or execute his contract, pin Hangman Adam Page, and then he ends up being the world champion going into All Out. And then I assume they'll have some kind of, I don't want to say Texas Death because I feel like Hangman does them too often, but I feel like they'll have some kind of stipulation match where Hangman will maybe lose to MJF and then MJF will go on his run as world champion and Hangman's run doesn't actually end up being as long as people want it to be. That's my prediction. I hope all that makes sense. But yeah, as I said, it's obviously very complicated, but that's the way I can see it going. Is I feel like MJF losing will then send him over the edge, which will then make him execute his contract, and then he'll win. So then the fans are happy that Hangman won, and that immediately gets taken away by MJF being a bastard. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, I hope that, as I said, I hope all that makes sense. But my prediction, as I said, is Hangman is going to win the match, but MJF is going to walk out as world champion. Oh. So those are my predictions for AEW Forbidden Door 2025. Do put down in the comments below what your predictions are for the show, what you're looking forward to the most. Do you think we're going to get any surprises? Do you think that MJF is going to execute his contract straight after losing to Hangman if he straight away loses to Hangman? And yeah, just anything else you think is going to happen on the show, we can have a good discussion about it in the comments. And yeah, do leave a like if you enjoyed this video. There is coverage of Forbidden Door and Heatwave coming up after the weekend, as well as my Wrestling Revisit, where I'll be reviewing the first ever Forbidden Door back in 2022. So do look out for that, as well as a top 50 a top 50 list of my best, who I think are the best wrestlers in the world right now, bell to bell. So yeah, do look out for those coming out over the weekend, as well as I've said, the reviews for Forbidden Door and Heatwave, as well as Clash in Paris coverage over next week as well. So yeah, do stick around for those, do subscribe, I would much appreciate it. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.